So a bit of news out today that another one of Argentina's kind of old guard players has decided to call it quits with rugby. So one of Argentina's greats, Juan Martín Hernandez, has called it quits from all rugby at age 35. So yeah, unlike some other guys who kind of tell you this is my last season or whatever, he in the middle of the season, Super Rugby has just said, no, that's it, I've had enough. His knees are apparently not holding up like they used to be. So yeah, I mean, I guess for his own health and possibly non-selections, things like that. Yeah, he's called an end to his career. A pretty good career it was, I have to say. In a time when Argentina wasn't kind of a top country, like in terms of rugby rankings, never in the top three or whatever, but they regularly did well at Rugby World Cups, especially when he was there at Rugby World Cup 2007. It's probably my most vivid memories of him anyway. And that time when they made the semis, they ended up losing the semis, but still managed to win a bronze medal match. And he was a pretty versatile player. He could play 10, he could play 12, he could play 15. I think 10 was his favourite, and that was kind of his tournament to shine. In the 10 jersey, he played pretty much all the games of Rugby World Cup 2007 at 10. And yeah, for a 25-year-old guy at the time he was, to kind of lead them around the park the way he did was, yeah, it was pretty impressive. 2011, he missed the World Cup with a knee injury, so the knees are kind of becoming a common theme with him, which is a pity because at 29, you're still experienced enough that you know how to play under pressure. You've kind of been there, done that. You know most of the tricks in the book. But at 29, you're still young enough. You're still in your 20s. That you've still got that bit of pace, that bit of spark. Whereas 2015, 33, getting a bit long on the tooth. Or I can't remember how old Dan Carter was when they won it in 2015. He probably would have been a similar age. But yeah, I mean, it's just a real pity he missed 2011, basically, is my point. So 2015, they also made the semis. I ended up losing, but by that point, he'd already kind of moved down the pecking order. Nicolas Sanchez had come onto the scene, so he was number 10. Hernandez was out to 12, so didn't play every game, but played most of them at 12. So still, versatile player, impressed in most positions that he played. Top 10 all-time point scorer for Argentina. You don't get that kind of record unless you're a pretty good player. So you'd have to think that he inspired a fair few young Argentinian and other South American guys to take up the game, in a country which is pretty football mad. So yeah, just the magician doing his magic, and yeah, just being really, really, really impressive ambassador for the game. In terms of his club career, so played most of it in France. 2 top 14 titles with Stade Francais, where he was pretty much the man. Spent some time with the Sharks and in South Africa, then also Racing Metro Toulon, and lastly, kind of fittingly, at the Jaguares. But yeah, at 35, you kind of got to ask, what more would he have had to offer at the Jaguares? It's probably better that younger guys are getting some game time. At 35, man, just start doing your coaching. I think they've asked him about it, but he didn't give a kind of non-committal answer as to whether he'll be doing any coaching. So yeah, it's a shame that he has to call it quits, but it happens to all of them. They all have to retire at some point. Father Time's gonna kind of lose that race with nobody. So yeah, he's had a really good career. Good for Argentinian rugby, and pretty much took whatever team he played with to another level. So it's a sad day for him, but yeah, like I said, I hope he can get into coaching or something and sticks with the game, because he's definitely a guy who has a lot of respect in the game, and even kind of casual fans, if you heard Juan Martín Hernandez, would probably know who he is, or at least have seen him playing at some point. So yeah, one of the key guys in international rugby. What did you think of his career? Any highlights that you can think of particularly? Great moments, but yeah, like I say, a great player. A shame to see him go, but it's probably about the right time. All right, guys, I'll talk to you again for another one soon.